So music notes this week. It is focusing on one of our most favorite psalms in the Bible, Psalm 23. Most people can recite some of it, or maybe all of it from memory. It's one of the most well-known and comforting texts. It's often used in funeral and memorial services, and it shows up in our cycle of 3-year lectionary texts. John Rutter actually wrote this movement as an anthem in 1976, but always knew that it belonged in something that was a larger work. When he wrote his Requiem in 1985 and decided to use Psalm 130 as that second movement, he said, let's put the sixth movement as another psalm setting in English, and let's put it at Psalm 23. And so that's how that mirrors that overall structure of the larger work. Rutter's 23rd Psalm is the scene of a beautiful pasture. It uses the solo oboe in this movement. And the oboes have traditionally been associated with shepherds. And Rutter says that this instrument just belongs with these words. He also thinks that the voice of the psalmist is that 10-year-old shepherd boy left out on the hill with the sheep, watching them for hours and hours and hours. And then that psalmist, that 10-year-old boy, realizes that there's someone else who's also watching him. So Rutter thinks that when we think about Psalm 23, that we should return to that trust and that simplicity as a child. The melodies at the beginning of this movement are sweet, and they set this tranquil pastoral scene. Here's the beginning of that movement with the oboe and the voices coming in. And if you noticed, the harp also played in a little duet fashion with the oboe through that section. So as you progress through Psalm 23, the tone changes of the words, so the music changes color along with it. When it gets to, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Rutter changes this, and he sets it as a 5-part a cappella choral, and it's rather chant-like through this section. Once again, you hear after we sing that oboe from that pasture comes flying right back in to bring us back. Back in the second movement, in Out of the Deep, I talked about how we were in C minor, but he set this huge C major chord on the word trust. Well, because he's mirroring this other movement, in this movement, he uses that big C major chord, but now it's on the word house. And the line is, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." Here it is. The ending of this movement is just as tranquil as it started. It almost functions like an interlude before returning us to the traditional Latin text, which ends a requiem, Lux Aeterna, which you will learn about next week.